And this is going to be fun today, at least for me. Okay. So, to frame this is really exciting. I've been thinking about this for months and months, and now it's time to unleash the fury. Traffic is something I'm going to demystify, and it's something that you've probably all tried some form of. And the best way to make this succinct is just to say my whole career and either success or lack thereof has come down to traffic. A lot of you might not know, but my whole background was I had day jobs in Silicon Valley, up to vice president level. People were foolish enough to do that. Thank you, people. And we had teams of search engine optimization and pay per click. I'm talking about 11, 12 people in one company. We had websites with millions of unique visitors, and one change that you make or one change that Google makes can make or break your whole business. So I've done the web optimization, on page, off page, SEO, pay per click, content marketing. So I'm old enough to have seen the whole arc of what's happened leading up to AI. And I'm going to kind of demystify traffic for you and make it very, very simple. And if you think about the way we look at content, coming into this program, you might have said, oh, what's my strategy for a webinar? What's my strategy for emails? What is my strategy for ads? And our whole system is based on there is no strategy for those things. We don't have to be overwhelmed because if we have one product roadmap, a simple content roadmap, I just take that content, I put it to my email list. It's a social media post, it's an ad. So the same is true with traffic. There is no like, what is an effective, I hate the word viral, but what's an effective organic strategy versus a paid strategy? If the content stops the scroll, it's going to be your best ad and your best organic content. And it's going to be the best email you send too. So there's not going off into these rabbit holes of platform specific, how do I handle TikTok versus Instagram? There are some nuances there we'll be covering in the next couple weeks, but by and large, the one thing I want you to do when it comes to traffic is the same thing I want you to do for everything else, including AI. I want you to take a breath, chill out, stop the FOMO and overwhelm and all the temptations that are flooding your inbox and your news feeds, and just understand that once you have a system, everything kind of trickles from there. So today we're going to talk about how strangers become customers and why advertising should cost you nothing. This is not just about advertising, folks, but as I alluded to and teased you guys with last week, there is simply no way to control your destiny, find out if your offer works, stop wasting money, and get results faster than the way I'm going to show you that's primarily leading with paid traffic. That brings up a triggering trauma response from a lot of us who have tried ads and we've followed gurus that are telling us to do all this crap with Meta or YouTube. And it gets really technical. And frankly, there's still people today teaching stuff from 8, 9 years ago. But the bottom line is what I realized in my career was I don't want to be trying to build a business while standing on a surfboard in the ocean. Okay. And Google is that ocean and AI is that ocean. What does that mean? It means we saw one change, Google's Panda update or Farmer updates. These are algorithm updates. We saw Google make one change that cut our traffic in half. So your options are really pretty clear. You can post on social media for 12 to 18 months, twice a day, hoping to get enough momentum to go ahead and start getting leads and customers. Or you can spend $20 to $50 the right way on traffic and get paid or not paid on day one and take all the risk out. How do you know if your offer works? What if you post on social media for 6 months and it doesn't work? What if you could find out in literally 4 hours if your offer works by running one ad to see if it works or not? So we can collapse the time and the risk and everything. And our traffic engine is all built around that. And we're going to dig into it. And I just want to, one more thing I want to point out here in my notes is that all the people, you know how I always say what Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach always says, never compare your backstage to someone's front stage. You can't look at the Harmozis and all the social media people and say, well, that's clearly what I need to do. I need to post 8 times a day because guess what? None of those people would have a platform if they didn't start with paid traffic to an offer that works. Alex Harmozy and all the people that have these huge millions and millions of followers didn't just start posting advice. They wouldn't have had anything to give advice on if they didn't build businesses using paid traffic and get traction. So you saw a teaser post I put in that, I just realized as I was updating my YouTube channel, that I got like 9 million views on one post. Why? Because it was an ad that I didn't spend any money on. I spent, $1 million on it or whatever, 500K or somewhere in there, but I never lost a dollar. So that's 9 million people. I've reached 50 million plus people. So you can't look at someone's front stage. You can look at my Instagram and say, oh, I have 6,000 followers. That's nothing because I post like cat videos on there and, adventures with my kids. But my value for follower is higher than pretty much anybody out there. So, would you rather have a $30 million in sales or 30,000 followers? Frank Kern said, the last time I checked, you can't deposit followers in the bank. That's a very powerful quote. So I was looking at, but at the same time, yeah, you have to do organic stuff. I'm going to show you a teaser of another tool I'm going to give you. Let me share this with you guys. So I created a simple script I'll give you guys to create thumbnails for YouTube. It's pretty cool. So you can create your thumbnails automatically, but guess what? That's the same process you use for ads and everything else. So let's dig in to the big picture on traffic, and then we're going to break this out to several trainings that fall underneath the traffic engine. Does that make sense, guys? Gals, thumbs up. I want you to kind of suspend a lot of the stuff you've been doing, or even some of the things, some of the assumptions you're making about traffic, things like paid ads are expensive or difficult, or social media is X, Y, and Z. I'm just going to try to simplify this for you today and have you leave with clarity on how to do the right things in the right order. Why traffic fails for creators, coaches, and consultants. 3 things are happening at once, and together they trap us. Number 1, everything that used to be free is drying up. So this is important. Folks, Meta and Instagram and YouTube and Google are paid businesses. They're not nonprofits. Although OpenAI was supposed to be. That's why the evil of money kicks in all dimensions. But they make money through ads, period. So if you're trying to get number 1 in Google search results and put your eggs in that basket, you're paying either way. And you're seeing these in the numbers. I did a deep dive on updated numbers for 2026. Instagram shows your post to fewer than 1 in 10 of your own followers. Facebook page organic reach now sits below 2 to 3%. Instagram engagement fell 24% to a 0.48%. So you're in a red ocean of people that are posting tons and tons of low quality content trying to stand out. But the good news is there's a new channel. AI is eating search. So you guys have seen in your Google searches where you get AI results that take up a huge portion of the page. There's a huge volume of searches we'll talk about for ChatGPT. You're working harder every year for less reach. So you don't want to compete by just spraying low quality content and volume out there. You want to focus on quality. Nothing that we put out earns attention like it used to. So every channel is algorithmic discovery, organic and paid. All that means is the complexity of machine learning and AI for Meta, Instagram, and all these channels, they do like 74,000 computations every second when they determine what you see next in your feed. Content lives or dies in the first 3 seconds. We know that. 63% of the high, and I'm going to get through the numbers in a minute. This is just for context, but 63% of the highest click through videos have to hook the viewer inside 3 seconds. So when I show you why we do these viral hooks and why we organize the content the way we do, it's because we're trying to do one thing everywhere: ads, organic. We're just trying to get a person to stop for literally not even half a second, a few milliseconds to stop the scroll. Out of 100 people who start your video, about 70 still need to be there at 3 seconds. If you hit that, the algorithm will show it to more people. So think about that. Engagement is the new currency. Attention is what we're competing for, not for leads, not for customers even. The currency of content is attention. That's why we have you do version 6, 7, and 8 of your messaging, and we focus on these hooks and all this stuff, because we want to open up a psychological loop when they see the image of your roadmap or your lead magnet. And I feel like if you guys understand the why behind this, you're not going to skip critical steps. This is what everyone's teaching now, of course. Posting 10 times a day with cheap AI content makes it worse, not better. Those of you that have been around might know Google has something called a quality score. And basically what they look at is your reputation as an author and as a content provider and the quality of your content and who links to it and all this crap you don't need to know. But the same is true for social media. When you put on organic content or ads, they read your whole website. They read the web page you're sending people to. They look at your messaging. They look at your engagement. They look at how many people opt in. And it's so much smarter than all these people selling products now, how to hack the algorithm, how to hack, all these things is just crap. Like the amount of people, I was looking in school doing searches, obviously our platform is on school. The amount of people that are suddenly, from the top to bottom, the biggest gurus to the smallest gurus, that are suddenly AI experts is mind-boggling. How can you be an expert on something that's been out for a few years? So don't take the bait. You can't afford to buy attention. This is what people think. Here is why some of you that have tried paid ads are gun shy, because you've simply done it with the wrong paradigm in place. You've done it with the wrong model, and it is gambling. If you're trying to sell high ticket or courses or coaching, and you're trying to bid on leads, you're basically telling the algorithm, hey, go find people that fill out forms for free stuff all day. And if you spend even $20 a day, but you do that for 10 days, you're in for $200 before you even understand if you got anything back, because you have to wait for those leads to go through your nurture sequence and opt in and book a call. So it's not about the thing doesn't work, the mechanism doesn't work. It's about the strategies don't work. Oops, got some more clickables here. So you stay stuck on free, and free is shrinking. So I'll tell you what that means in a minute. Costs are going up. Cost per acquisition is up 38% over the last 3 years. What does that mean? It means if you do it the way everyone else is doing it, it's a race to the bottom, because this might sound intimidating to you or negative, saying ads are getting more expensive. There's more content out there. There's stuff flooding the space. I'm going to tell you the opposite is true. Because if you're one of the few people that does it right, that has a good offer, it's like taking candy from a baby. Never understood that analogy. Why would you steal something from a baby? But you know what I'm saying. You don't need to wait until you can afford ads. Advertising should cost you nothing. Okay. We talked about this last week. I'm going to show you how the model works today, and then we're going to get into actually building it together in subsequent weeks. But this is huge. Advertising, the way I've done it, and the way pretty much anyone spending a bigger amount of money than you'll think you could ever spend, doesn't lose money and doesn't spend money. That's the whole paradigm shift. It should cost you nothing. What traffic actually is: presenting content or an offer in front of your audience and getting them to click, period. I remember my brick and mortar days. I owned agencies and I worked for businesses. We would do trade shows. You guys ever been to trade shows and events? And people would be like, what's my strategy for the trade show? Or what's my strategy for a local meetup or anything? And I'd be like, dude, it's just traffic. There is no different strategy. How are you going to capture people with a lead magnet or low ticket offer? And I'm I'm going after strangers on all these places with the same strategy. How do I take a percentage of people that see my content and get them to do something so I can follow up with them? It's not like complex if you look at the right level. Sorry, I forgot to click on this. That's it. Every single lane is a version of that. Every place you could possibly reach people, even if you're doing cold email or outreach or DMs or whatever, you're just knowing that I'm going to reach 1,000 people or 100 people, and a small percentage of those people are going to take the next step. And that's just a funnel, and that's all it is. Retargeting is not traffic. It's the asset that traffic builds. Yes, you can retarget warm audiences and have invisible opt-in lists. All that means is the cool thing about running simple ads is you don't need to have them on your email list. You have an audience of all the people that have visited your site and watched your content. That's cool. But our primary goal is to reach new people and continually reach new people and get them to take action. So here's where the wheels fall off for most people. If you've tried to run ads or you've tried to launch an offer in the past, it works really well with people who know, like, and trust you. And as soon as you go outside of that, the wheels fall off. Okay, so we're going to avoid that. There's some simple tactics that we do. So we make sure that what we put out there is sustainable long term, that we're not just going to have this. I used to celebrate. I was like, I just got 1,000 leads for like $2. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, soon as I spent more money in reaching colder and colder audiences, everything fell off because I didn't understand the principles I'm going to share with you today. Traffic isn't a channel you pick, it's a system you build. This is the way we approach I keep forgetting to click on these, sorry. This is why we approach everything differently around here. You have an offer system, a content system, and a traffic system. And it's a process where everything feeds from each other, and it's not like you have to dig into one tactic and stress out because you're sitting there going, what's my Instagram plan? There is no Instagram plan. There's a traffic system that allows you to be omnipresent and reach people where they are. Hopefully that makes sense. Platforms shifted from social graph distribution to AI discovery. That sounds very nerdy. All it says is you are seeing as consumers, I'm sure every day, that AI is eating the search and the search world because more and more people get way more value. There's way more intelligence behind Google's AI results and using ChatGPT and other tools to get way more comprehensive answers. AI is going to give you much better content than just good old fashioned Google search. And that's why Google is so into AI, obviously. Every major platform now pushes content from accounts that you don't follow. So this is good and bad because we can reach more and more new people, which is our goal. But we're getting lower and lower engagement, frankly, because these are paid entities, which means you don't need a big audience. You need a system. That is, forget all the numbers and the nerdy stuff and the AI talk. What you need to understand is it's not complicated, because my whole goal that I've been really hoping and nudging you along toward is if you do what you guys have been doing and spend your time on your message and your offer and your math, then you're ready for traffic. Because the opposite and things I did early on was I would start there. And that's the pizza shop analogy. I was talking to someone the other day who's like, "Yeah, I need to up my social media game. I'm only posting, twice a week." I'm like, "Why are you posting at all? Like, if you don't have a place for those people to go, like to opt in or to buy something, what's the point? What like you're advertising your pizza shop and you don't have dough." So, the right things in the right order. Offer, content, traffic. Our business runs from left to right, we build it from right to left, right? We build our offer, then we build our assets, and then we put traffic through it. And the way it works for customers is they start with traffic and they see your content and they get to your offer. So we always build our business backwards from the ground up. Why you can trust this? If you can. Number one, I'm a nerd. But more importantly, I've spent $2 million plus. It's probably closer to 3 million if I look at different accounts and include YouTube and everything. This has been everything that I've done. Is what unlocked everything for me was understanding my goal was to spend as much as I possibly can. It's not to, you know, increase my referrals. That's not scalable. What's scalable is today I spent $50 and made 60. Tomorrow I spent 100 and made 110. The next day I spent 500 and made 600. Before you know it, if you just get that one offer that works, you can scale it way faster than you would believe. So what makes some of you guys hesitant and discouraged is looking at the confusing overwhelm of all the stuff you're trying to do online, but really you're just trying to get a couple lights to turn green. It's like, okay, I got an ad that works. Bing, bing, bing. That's going to an offer that works. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, now I can finally scale my business. 50 million plus people reached at zero cost. Okay, so you guys know, well, as of today, you might know I've owned SEO agencies, worked in SEO and organic content and content marketing. So I didn't start with ads. I went to ads because I realized I can control my destiny quickly and scale to the moon. Most of my scale came from simple low ticket offers, period. 50,000 plus customers, all of which came from spending zero net money because I wouldn't have spent the money. And it's funny because when I looked yesterday prepping for this at my Meta Ads account, it's even more profitable. And I've talked about this in the past over time because leads are an investment. So you might be paranoid and maybe you're going to run a campaign the way we teach you here and you're going to want to kill it in 6 hours or in 2 days. But the truth is 7 days in, 14 days in, you get more sales and more sales. And if you would have let it sit and understood statistical relevance, like you can't make a decision when you get 3 leads and say these leads aren't good, or you spend $10 on ads and get back 8 and you're like, oh, this ain't working. You have to be unemotional and more like AI and remove all the emotion from this process. Here's what you'll walk away with today. The 5 lanes and how we're going to put them together in order to get traffic. The only metrics that matter. I talk about metrics, and some of you are like me, where you glaze over. And it's the last thing you want to hear because you're creative, you're an artist, you build cool stuff. And it's like, metrics, math, ew. I mean, I switched in 11th grade from like trigonometry to business math. It was the best thing I ever did because I learned what a budget was. So I'm not a math person, but everybody, the difference between you and everyone who's scaling things is they're not in the health, wealth, relationship, or whatever you do business. They're in the math business. It's like I pay this much to get a customer and the customer is worth this much. And that's my business. It's the core numbers that you have to understand. That's why we do the model builder. Why traffic comes last and what has to be true before you do it. And then the 3-part traffic engine, which is our core thing. And why ads should cost you $0. So let's zoom out and look at the whole traffic picture, which looks like this. There's 5 lanes of traffic, 5 primary lanes of traffic. Search, people looking for something. Um, that's difficult for those of us that sell coaching or consulting where we solve complex problems. It's really easy if you're a plumber because this is like the hierarchy of needs. The person whose pipe breaks needs you now. The plumber who fixes those pipes needs to run ads or show up on Google and get reviews. And those are like, it doesn't matter what your budget is or what your lifestyle is or how paranoid you are about the economy. You're going to call the plumber when it's leaking. So search is the channel for local businesses. It's not necessarily the channel for experts, consultants, coaches, and online businesses. Your content shows up in a feed. You pay to be in that feed. You get referrals, which is a huge tactic we'll talk about. It's not the first thing, but it's important. Something I learned from a lot of mentors I work with directly, like Jay Abraham and other folks, is like one of the fastest things you could do is say, who already has my customers, and go partner with them, do a webinar with them and split the money. Like, why wouldn't you do that if you sell baby clothing? Why wouldn't you sell to, pediatricians and other people that serve that market? All the steps your customers have to go through. If I sell furniture, why wouldn't I partner with realtors? So referral traffic is not to be discredited. Once we get our offer going, it's a huge channel, but it's not the primary channel. And now we have AI, a totally new traffic source that didn't exist recently. The lane that didn't exist 2 years ago, it's not just ChatGPT. The biggest surface is the one that you already rank on, Google. It's the one you're already searching on. If you're not local, you're probably not ranking on it. It's going to be hard to rank for, an overall term like business coach or SEO consultant. You can bid on those things. But AI overviews plus AI mode, all that means is, I don't need to tell you, anything you've searched for recently, you're seeing the dominant presence of AI in results. Gemini, Google's assistant, answers directly, often without ever sending a click. That's really the issue, is how good is that for you as a consumer, where I don't have to click on this and see I don't like result number 1. I got to click on another thing. If your question is answered right on the page, you don't even need to click. That's what the importance of AI search results is. It's so good at giving you your answer. There's nowhere to click. You don't have to. ChatGPT, this is crazy to learn this. 1 billion plus searches already every week. So the shift is literally from 1.9% to almost 18%. In just 12 months, look at that growth, the role that AI plays in search. It's really cool. Like just from you guys helping out me when I asked you, I'd never done Trustpilot, which I highly recommend you guys do. We got 17 of you did a review, which I really appreciate. And now when I go and Google the Fletcher method, I have this huge AI result that says highly reviewed business and marketing coaching. Then I have this Trustpilot page that comes up, and it's like, sometimes something like that is all it takes to show up on search results, to be in AI search results and everything else. Okay. Ranking number 1 no longer means getting the click. Here's what changed. 60% of searches don't click at all, like we just said. When an AI overview appears, organic trips drop by a third because you're already answering the question. The answer gets read right on the page. Your site never gets visited. So position number 1 is no longer the prize. That's why if you do a simple thing like Trustpilot and these high authority sites, then AI tools pick up on that because Trustpilot is so worthy, so credible in the market. What's the opportunity? Being cited is the new currency, not ranking. So, like I just said, let me see if this works. So, there's an AI search result. There's YouTube. There's reviews dominating the first page, including AI search results. And then there's some random guy that says Fletcher Reeves Python program. So it's not perfect. I have no idea who that is or what that means, but it still dominates the search results. Thank you, Stanley Fletcher. Cited brands get 35% more organic clicks and 91% more paid clicks. So it lifts your ads too. So AI will play a role when it comes to your organic strategy, but it's not going to be the primary driver. It's just something to be conscious of. And more numbers and blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is an important one. So if you understand at the end of the day, traffic is not complicated. People either are referred directly to you, that's direct traffic. They find you through searching or looking for solutions, or you pay to get them, right? Or you put, or it's either organic or paid. Really, the fork in the road is you pay directly to get in front of that person or not. That's really it. So lane number one, organic social. This is not, well, let me not misinform you. Yes, the first thing we're going to do is the content conveyor belt. We're going to take your content, your ninja content sequence, and you're just going to have a calendar. And yes, you're going to put that in all the social places. It'd be silly not to do that because it's such high leverage and such little cost. Why wouldn't I, if I create a video, put it in my email list, syndicate it to Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook? Why wouldn't I do that? Because it takes maybe per post, 20 minutes of work or something, or I can automate it. Of course, I'm doing that, but I'm not going to count on that if I need to feed my family. It takes years of posting and praying, and it's free. It costs your time. But if you have time, I'd rather have you run a really simple ad the way I'm going to show you. Search and SEO, for some of you, that doesn't even ever apply because you have nuanced, complex problems you solve. If you do have a problem you solve that you can solve people in multiple markets online, like how to buy your first home, there are some products that search matters for you. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter anywhere near as much as it would be if you had a local brick and mortar business. Because if you're competing for something like, YouTube ads coaching or business coaching or health coach or life coaching or something, you're competing against the whole planet. There's no local impetus unless you have a local brick and mortar coaching company or something, which I don't think you should. AI answer engines. This is emerging. It's promising, and we are going to talk about simple tactics like Trustpilot and other tactics to optimize for ChatGPT and search. But it's frosting, folks. These tactics are frosting. It feels so good. Like I looked at our group and, got 2 clients this month from YouTube. Okay, that is cool. That's, a couple $1,000 from YouTube. Did that person also see an ad? Were they also on my list? You know what I mean? I can't say it's 100% attributed, but I'm not going to count on it. If my strategy was to post content on YouTube every day and wait till I can get 5 to 10 customers a day, I wouldn't be able to withstand that float period. Referrals partner. It's really good. We're going to talk about it. It's not your primary source. Okay. So these are all the core engines, but then you have this one, a paid customer magnet. So we just take our lead magnet and we charge $27 for it. We over deliver, we solve a problem for people. It takes 1 day to know if it works. If you have $40 or whatever, and and you can say, okay, I'm going to spend that, and within a week or two, I'm going to get 2 or 3 of those customers. I know it worked, but I'm going to know in one day. In one day, I can find out if my messaging, my offer, and my funnel is effective. So think about that. Tim Ferriss, when he wrote the 4 Hour Work Week, he had 2 or 3 other titles. One of them was out there. It was like how to sell drugs for fun and profit, because he started a supplement company. So it was meant to be edgy and humorous. He didn't just call it the 4 Hour Work Week. He just ran simple Google ads with a book cover with his multiple versions of his title, and the 4 Hour Work Week crushed everything. I don't know if you guys know that, but that's how he came up with the title, because you can find out in hours or 24 hours whether or not it works. It doesn't cost a lot to start, and it pays for itself. So some of you are in the camp. If you're in startup mode, I understand. You're like, well, I don't have any money for advertising. I have zero money to spend on ads. Great. Your only other option is to go get customers. Either you pay to get in front of them, or you go get them, which might mean direct outreach, email. There's no lack of ability for you to go get 5 customers. It's just, what choice do you have if you can't run any ads at all? The only other choice you have is elbow grease, something that's not fun, it's not sustainable, it's not what you want to build a business around. But I guarantee 100% of you could get 3 customers this week if you reached out to 50 to 100 people a day and asked them a core question about what they do, what they're struggling with, and offered to help them on a call. Yes, you could get 3 to 5 customers with direct outreach. So you have the choice of getting no customers ever, going out to get them, or putting together a really good, irresistible low ticket offer like we mapped out for Larry last week to get them. To me, it's worth skipping the latte. And at this point in my career, I'm not, hopefully, knock on wood, not going to be doing cold calls and cold email. But what I always say this: what choice do you have? Get no customers, go and just, if you have a surplus of time, that means you have a surplus of effort, or you want to leverage it with things like paid traffic. Decisive. The numbers that matter and the ones that lie to you. I'm going to simplify the numbers you should think about. And as we dig into this customer magnet strategy, AI is going to do it for you, but I want you to know them. I want you to at least understand them. All that matters to me is return on ad spend. How many of you have ever run ads before? Give me a thumbs up if you've tried like a paid traffic campaign. So the gurus, so a good amount of you, a good percentage of you, about what, half? ROAS, I'll speak to these in a minute. ROAS, return on ad spend. How much did you get back? Customer acquisition cost. What did it cost you to get a customer? And this is true for leads too, but I care about what it costs to get a customer. How fast does it take you to get your money back? This is why maybe some of you that said you've tried paid traffic couldn't sustain the float period, the payback period, because you're bidding on leads or strategy sessions and just hoping that once you talk to all those people, you'll get some money back. Earnings per click. That just speaks to, like, for the number of people I sent to that page. This is an optional one, I think, but it just says the number of people I sent to that page. If I spent $2 a click, did I get more than that back? It really doesn't matter if you look at this. So here is what all of the experts talk about, is these ones. And I mean, not all, but the people not in e-commerce, people that are still teaching the old guru internet marketing, Facebook ads and YouTube and Google stuff. Look, the biggest ad campaign I ever did, to the tune of 900,000 plus in revenue per month. Biggest ad campaign I did, I paid $85 per lead. I paid $4 or $5 per click. I had a low click-through rate, under 3%. I paid crazy high CPMs, I didn't care because I'm bidding on customers. And I want you to think about this. If you're bidding on customers for someone to buy a low ticket offer, of course, it's going to be way more expensive to get them. But if you make money, you don't care about these numbers. This is what the guru world still teaches. Like, oh, you want this click through rate and you want to play this per click. Are you bidding per clicks? It doesn't matter. Are you bidding for CPMs? It doesn't matter. These numbers mean nothing. So that's a breath of fresh air because some of you that have been taught how to quote unquote do paid traffic, um, this is like the 2018 version of stuff. You don't care. Like that's the beauty of the way we're going to do this and the way everyone that really is scaling does it is if I'm paying $50 to get a customer that's worth 70, why would these ever matter at all? They don't. They mean nothing. Traffic is gasoline. If the engine is broken, more gasoline just makes a bigger fire. So look, the reason I didn't start out saying, let's put together a low ticket offer and start getting you customers right away. That is a good thing, I guess, because you'd be maybe more motivated in the short term. If I was like, let's put together a low ticket offer and you can literally start getting customers 72 hours from now, you'd be like, cool. But then nothing would happen because the whole point is you break even on that first customer. But if they don't go into your membership or your coaching program, that's not a business at all. You're just, I spent 1,000, made 1,000, or I spent 1,000 and made 1,400. You're not here to make $400 this month, right? What you're here to do is get a small percentage, 3 to 5%. More is obviously better, but not that many at all. They buy your low ticket thing. They love it because you're solving a small problem, getting them a really quick win. And then it's like, hey, if you want the whole system, if you want me to help you solve this bigger problem, click here to book a session with me. Click here for a free trial for a membership. The whole goal is a seamless journey from front end to your back end offer. And that's why we spend all of our time and energy, maybe more than you've ever done before, getting your offer, your core back end business. This is your business. Whether you're doing lead magnets or low ticket offers, those are just fuses. Those are just acquisition fuses. That's not your business. These are your business. Once these are validated, meaning you put something out there that people want enough to opt in and book a session with you or sign up with you, once you have a validated back end offer, then you have the privilege to scale with front end mechanisms. Does that make sense to you guys? It's the easiest model in the world, but it's the most simple model in the world, but simple is not easy. So we don't do all these complicated tactics with upsells and downsells and a webinar funnel that leads into a OTO that leads into, holy crap, all this tech, because at the core of all of that is, are you solving a problem that people want you to, that are looking to solve? And are you doing it in a way that's different than what they've seen before? Once that's down, cool. Now we can pour gasoline on something that's going to work. We don't put a billboard for our pizza shop if we don't have dough or an oven yet. Traffic comes last. There's 3 parts. This is super cool. This is it. This is literally it. The hooks we've covered in our content because these belong in your content roadmap. And many of you don't understand how to use them when you have questions. Good, because we haven't actually deployed them yet. But what we're doing is we're just saying, okay, I have a product roadmap. It has, hopefully for all of you or most of you, 9 steps. So my product roadmap solves this big problem for people. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is by solving little problems one at a time. Well, cool. I know that clarifies things because I don't have to worry about a whole content plan. I just create content about each step. But to make it really stand off the page and stop the scroll, we stick a hook on top of it. So, what's a hook? It's a irresistible first 3 to 5 seconds of your content. That's what a hook is. It's not its own piece of content. It's not something that we trip out about. It's literally, let me bring up the hooks image here just so I can speak to it. And this is not the training. This is not the how to. This is for context. You understand the strategy. So a hook is just, if you look at our whole content model, it's all based around a script. And I don't want to trip you out, but I'm such a nerd, I have to show you. I've done a massive upgrade to the script that's getting pushed out. And it looks like this. Basically, it's engineering all those 8 psychological beliefs so your VSLer webinars are just even more effective. But I digress. What's a hook? A hook is just literally 5 to 20-second hooks. That's probably on the long side. It could be as short as 3 to 5 seconds. So 3 to 20 seconds. These are when you see content on YouTube or in ads and video content or in image content, that the difference between stopping a scroll and not is not just saying, hey, I'm Aaron and I'm going to show you how to build lead magnets that convert. That would work. My ninja content sequence, I'm going to do a how-to video for one step in my roadmap. That would work, but it's going to work way better if I say, hey, if you're a course creator and you're looking to sell 5 to 10 copies of your course per day, don't skip this video because I'm going to show you this one-page lead magnet thing. Warning, most course creators are using the absolute wrong strategies to make lead magnets. Here's what's working right now and what we've used to sell $10 million in courses. I used to try to get leads the old way with ebooks, this and that, till I discovered this one-page thing that I used to sell $10 million of my course. These are hooks. That's all a hook is. And there are so many books and so many strategies for hooks, but a hook is like it sounds. Hook. I'm going to hook the fish. These are the top 18, so you don't have to go and trip out and, okay, it's saying there's 1,500 hooks. These are like the surefire hooks that work, and they map to your content. So script, SCRIPT. I had to take poetic license and call big picture P for picture. Forgive me. But this is it. So if I want to talk about challenges people are facing or results, in the last 30 days, our coaching customers generated over this amount of money. Here's the exact system they use. Boom. So this isn't creating a new video or a new email or a new whatever post on Instagram. It's placing an irresistible hook at the top of it, at the beginning of it. Give me a thumbs up if you understand where the hooks fit. It's like a irresistible bait. That's why it's a hook that I just place on top. The installer hook. So take actions is just a direct, like, what do you want them to do? Hey, how would you like me to help you install our proven webinar system into your business in 7 days so you can start turning strangers into customers and getting clients? The tour guide. Let me give you behind the scenes peek at the new system we've used to help 77 stay-at-home moms lose up to this much weight or start their online business without network marketing BS. Okay. So these are the known hooks, and we'll go through them in more detail so you can install them into whatever content you're using, understand how they work. But that's all you need to know right now is the hook is the difference between stopping the scroll and not. And the number of, I don't want to undervalue the amount of research I had to do, and not only my own testing and research into viral content and freaking books and case studies, but I'm just telling you, I don't think I would ever deviate from these top ones. And for some of you, that'll mean one or two. And this is why I don't want you to be overwhelmed. Like one might be it for you. Like I just do it. The one pager hook. Where's the scroll stopper? I just did this. Okay, I just did this in a new video I'm doing for, guess what? A low ticket offer. It's just like I tend to use this all the time because it works so well. It's like, hey, if you're a course creator coach and you're looking for this result, do not skip this video, or you don't want to miss this video. Why? Because I'm going to show you this one page thing. Scroll stopper is just like it sounds. It's made to stop the scroll. Okay. So at this point, all you need to understand is what the heck they are and the fact that they go in front of your content. Okay. Content conveyor belt, just like it sounds. Not confusing. It's not complicated when you do it right. Let's say today or this week, I created because I know all of you in the content challenge created 20 pieces of content. Great job. We got 100% adoption rate in that. You guys are killing it. I know you all created 20 videos. So now you have them ready to do traffic. Good job. I'm just kidding. You need to be creating the content because that's the price of admission for traffic is what the heck are you going to put in front of people? And it's let's make it really simple. A quick how-to video for each step of your roadmap. That's it. Hey, here's the one page thing we use to do this. Hey, here's the one page thing we need to help these people do this. And you follow the script. Most people are struggling with this. I've overcome that. I've tried all that stuff too. The result is this system. Here's how it works. If you want to learn more, click here. Boom. Okay. The content conveyor belt is just like it sounds. It's an omnipresent. So many serfs and poor people in the village know. Omnipresent strategy of just saying, oh, I created a piece of content. I created this video or this article. Why not just go syndicate it to everywhere I can? One piece of content becomes 10 or 20 pieces of content. Because if it goes into my email nurture sequence and it goes on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok, then think about the compounding effect, the slow but significant viral effect that if you did 3 pieces of content per week and put them all 6 places and you have 18 reaches and you do that for 3 months, you're getting thousands and thousands of eyeballs because you're not just creating one thing and putting it on YouTube or one thing and putting it in your email sequence. It's syndicating it everywhere for omnipresence. Then the customer magnet strategy. My goal with this is just to cut out all the BS. And I'm going to tell you and be totally honest, part of the beauty of this system is same thing when you serve clients is a continual improvement loop. That's why you don't want to build a course and put it out there and it starts decaying 5 minutes after you launch it. Like I want to revisit the script and I want to revisit the lead magnet strategy and I want to revisit and look at where people have questions and friction and make the whole system better. And this is no exception because what I was going to do is teach you this in stages, like how to do lead gen campaigns or audience building campaigns, and then how to do lead gen campaigns. I'm like, wait a minute. Why? Why would I do that when the fastest path to start getting clients in the next few days is just the customer magnet strategy? And that was actually clarifying talking to Larry because he had all this expertise and help and he's still serving all these clients and charging a significant amount of money, but he's not leveraging his time. And it's like, how do I turn that into this big, massive coaching program where I'm going to, I have to get the case studies going and I got to get all the, it's like, no, why don't we just pull one little thing out of your coaching program and get people fantastic results this week with it? So it's like it's better for you, it's better for the customer, it's better for your pocketbook just to say, okay, let me just create a low ticket thing and I'm going to know within the one day if it's working or not. And as soon as I get it working, holy crap, then I can just ascend those people in my back end offer. Who is more likely to buy your coaching, your agency, your consulting than someone you've helped solve a problem and you've done a really good job at it? Like you could build trust through years of following up with people with educational content. But you know what's weird about this? This is the last thing I'll say on this slide. I used to think it was BS stuff that gurus taught when they would say, stop teaching your best stuff for free. Because one side of the fence is like, make your best stuff free and over deliver. And the other side is hold it back behind a paywall and put a strict wall there. And I think the answer is in between. Because if you keep giving people tons of free how to content, why would they ever need to buy anything? And you give them a false sense of accomplishment and you tick the box and you satisfy the endorphins and all these other reasons. When what I want to do is I'd rather have you, then the other side is the guru that charges 20K. Then you get in the program and it sucks. And you realize the reason they didn't put anything out there to the world is because their whole thing is pressure selling. You guys have all probably purchased those programs too. The beautiful answer in the middle is give you an incredible result, but solve a problem I can solve for you in a few hours or a few days, maybe a week at the most. And the amount of goodwill and trust that builds faster than anything on the planet. So I'm not attracting leads and tire kickers. I'm just solving a problem, a small, simple problem that can get them a quick win that leads to the greater opportunity to solve more problems for them. It is the most elegant bridge from date to marriage, from stranger to customer. So the reason it's called customer magnet is because a lead magnet is free. A customer magnet is a lead magnet that's we charge for. And it's not a cheap lead magnet. It's not charging for a one-page thing you created in 10 minutes. No, it's giving them the implementation, doing it live, doing a course along with it, giving them an AI tool if you're doing that. You don't you literally bend over backwards to make this amazing. And it's like $27 and people are like, holy crap, this person's stuff must be like how much confidence am I going to have in your coaching program if I just crush it on the lead magnet? I'm going to show you a real life example of a offer like this. Let me go here. Sorry, let me bring up one little thing that will paint the picture. Sorry, folks, one sec. Okay, here it is. So I'm not doing this to wax poetic. I'm doing this because this is what I'm going to give you guys, which is bad to the bone. So we can see this page if I'm sharing it properly. Okay, we can. So when we build our customer engine, I'm not just going to say go build it. I'm going to give you the sales page template, the email templates, the math, the freaking copy, all that stuff that you can use AI to build it. But here is a low ticket offer that I'm offering. And for $27, the fact that and the amount of psychology and the template I'm going to give you for the sales page is just bananas, the amount of psychology and everything. I'm not going to go into it. But essentially, for $27, someone can come, as you know how it works. They can get a script tool, generate their script that overcomes the 8 psychological beliefs, yada, 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 create their slides. And simple steps, works with their favorite AI tools, blah, blah, blah. So this is an example of a sales page for $27. Now, if someone pays $27 and gets that kind of value, how difficult would it be to say, oh, yeah, well, now that you have that done, we kicked ass on that. But what about your offer? And what are you going to do to create your customer engine system and how you're going to get in front of people, blah, blah, blah. So it stretches that gap beautifully. Like when we talked to Larry, it's like, oh, just what if you offered a content strategy or created their first flagship video for them and using AI to leverage it all? And that was just $300 or something. Over deliver on the front end, but I'm attracting customers, not tire kickers. Okay, fuse viral hooks. We already covered that. Essentially, the way we do it is engineered to stop the scroll. And I'm trying to make it really simple by just saying, hey, put these one or two hooks in front of your content. Content conveyor belt. This is what people are doing that we're not going to do. Spamming on social media all day, using only one platform, starting from zero, trying to figure out what the heck to create content about. It doesn't even fit in your roadmap without a system. What we do is we say, no, there's a lot of research I won't bore you with, but Mr. Beast and Hormozi and all these people went really deep on the numbers, and high quality long form content beats all this spammy stuff every single time. Good content that's syndicated everywhere. If you did a couple a month, I'm not telling you to do that. If you had one or two flagship, really good pieces of content per month, it's going to beat the people that are using AI fake images to spam. So you have your product roadmap. From that comes your Ninja content sequence, right? Which, if you guys have not done the content roadmap piece, these are kind of the natural flow of how it works. Those of you that are newer or confused, everything comes from my product roadmap. I take my product roadmap. It's like, I need to build a content sequence to follow up with people. The content roadmap is simply taking every single step of your product and creating one or more pieces of content. But it's what content, not how content. We throw a hook in the front, and now we're cooking with gas. This is the core of everything, the customer magnet system. As I said, we don't want to bid on leads. We don't want to just keep giving away free lead magnets that attract freebie seekers. So why do we do lead magnets then? To validate our back end offer. If I can't get 100 people to opt in and see if anybody buys my product or books a session, then I don't have a valid back end offer that I can pour gas on. So it's not like we don't use lead magnets. Once I have people on my list, yeah, I can give them cool free things and educate them, show them what the system is, but not detailed how to do it. That's what they get when they buy my program. Endure the flow period, like we said, waiting weeks to learn if you have wasted money. Webinars where people don't show up. So relying on webinars, if you don't have a validated offer, why not do a paid workshop? So how many of you have seen a rash of ads that comes around every 5 years and people think it's new, doing paid workshops? I saw a thing. I saw Russ Ruffino doing it, Dan Henry doing it, everyone doing it. It's like, but I'm not doing a paid workshop that's a sales fest. I'm gonna do a really good job teaching one step of my program. People pay $27 and $97 for it. I get them a great result. And then at the end, oh, cool. Click here to apply for our coaching program or book a session or a free trial to our membership. We bid on customers. We know from day one what's working. We upgrade our lead magnet to a customer magnet. Again, we get to know in one day for a small budget if it's going to work. Every friend and buyer gets your back end offer. Sell people who already paid you. Remember, we talked about last week, if I'm going to pay $18 for a lead or $30 or $50 for a customer, and I get to break even, but what we're not thinking about is who is more valuable to me. There's an objection that I get all the time where people say, but wait a minute, isn't a $27 customer still a low ticket tire kicking person? I would say, does Tony Robbins sell books? Like, the richest people in the world buy low ticket products. And if you're attracting the right people and solving a problem for those people you want to attract, then that's the funnel of the biggest brands on the planet, period. You have Hormozy saying for the first 3 years, I'm giving away all my best stuff for free, and then start doing information product launches again, charging, for these book packages and books. It's like, that's just what works. You over deliver really, really, really well on a low ticket offer. And then I'm going to show you something cool is how to seamlessly get them into your paid sessions. I'm not going to get into detail about this. This is just FYI right now, but I am not trying to be a jerk. But I'm going to give you direct advice. And I think you cannot challenge me on it. And well, anybody could challenge me on it, but I just believe to the core of my soul that the way the marketing world teaches ads is jacked up pretty bad. And you can tell because even the people teaching it are spending, $200, $1,000 a day, and they can't really scale past that. And they tell you because the algorithm breaks or something. The people I follow, Common Thread Collective, Andrew Ferris, the people that are spending $100,000, not per month, per day with these big e-commerce brands, they structure things way differently. They take all the risk out of it and they're bidding on customers. Let me say it like this. In 2026, anyone telling you you have to find a target audience is that's not right. Anyone telling you to go bid on max volume where you spend all your money every day is not right. Anyone saying you have to do testing campaigns is not right. Anyone who obsesses over audiences and all the above is not right, or tells you to bid on or look at your click-through rates. What the big dogs do is you go broad. You basically, here's how it works and here's why you're going to love it. You put a couple ads out there to start with. You set your budget, and that's your setup. Why? Because if you think this is what these folks are doing, and I fired an agency 7-8 months ago because of the conflict of I'm like, oh, you're an agency. I'm going to just do it the way you're doing it. And then weeks went by and the ad spend and the metrics were way, way worse than what I had when I was doing it myself. And I'm like, dude, we're not even spending enough. We're paying way more per customer. Can we just do it my way? I'll pay you the same amount. Just do it my way. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You don't need an agency if you do it the right way. You basically don't split test, but you obsess over creative. So here's how advertising works in 2026. And I'm not giving you a full training on it. I just want you to get this concept. Creative is the new targeting, period. And what that means is these algorithms don't just look at whether your ad gets clicked. They find the audience. They understand these micro gestures that you can't even comprehend, 74,000+ of them per second. They know the difference between when you scroll and pause for a millisecond versus you don't. They know when you scan the content versus how long you take to scan the content versus not. It's not just what gets leads and clicks. When you have clicked on an ad for cowboy boots, which I know I have, within half a second, you'll see another cowboy boot ad. Has that ever happened to you? Not cowboy boots, but within half a second, you'll see relevant content. So this algorithm is so good at finding and now it's smart enough with the latest update where it'll be like, oh, horse equipment and cowboy retreats and Western wear and fishing and hunting gear. So there's so much beauty and so much sophistication we don't need to understand about AI and machine learning. But here's what's cool. Ads today, this is everything I've been trying to prepare you for. Your offer is the only thing that matters, period. Not You're never going to win by a different setup in your campaign, by a different targeting approach, by different whatever. It's just putting a really good offer in front of people for a lead magnet, or in this case, a low ticket offer with a visual of your one page thing engineered the way I'm going to show you. It's like there is, I'm not in the business of teaching you how to click the buttons and move the dials in Meta Ads Manager because that's silly. You structure things the right way and you add new creative and you let it sit, and we're going to know right away if it's working. Like the AI does all of this stuff and it's been doing all this stuff for years. So I guarantee you have courses or content where you've learned this stuff if you've done any ads before. Here's why ads cost you nothing, and we're almost out of here. We talked about this last week. And there's a bananas approach to this too. I didn't talk about last week. I'll talk about really quickly today. Let's say I have an offer that's $27. I have an upsell that's say $300. Well, that means that for every customer I'm paying $50 for, I'm making $71. Give me a thumbs up if you're in the zero selling, if you have a high ticket offer at $3,000 or more. High ticket offer at $3,000 or more. Do you want to hear something you've probably didn't think about that's bananas? What would happen if they bought a killer customer magnet low ticket offer from you for $27 and the upsell was a $297 paid session? That's not something you're going to hear somewhere else because no one is a nerd to the level of nerdum. Folks, this is the most seamless way to turn front end offers into back end offers that you'll ever see. And it's super, it makes sense. Like, I'm going to solve this small problem for you, but I'm not going to ask you to go pay 10K. I'm going to offer you a whole mapping session, a whole audit for $300. And I need a 8, 10, 5% of these people to do it for the numbers to still work. And even if it's upside down, even if I pay $50 and the average customer is worth $35, what does that mean? That means I'm getting $300 paid sessions at a slight loss, but it's nowhere near the funnel if I was bidding on leads. So let me say it like this. You're going to go from paying $200 for a $300 paid session to like $50 or $60 for a $300 paid session. And you're going to be talking to actual customers, not leads. Boom. That's what I just said. Look at this. Look at this flow. This is like when we can tick all three of these boxes, stuff gets really interesting. Now, could you do what we said with Larry and not make this a session? Could you charge up to $100 to $300 for your front end offer? Yeah, you can. Nothing wrong with that. It works well. A lot of people are doing paid workshops for $100. Anything under like $500 is a no-brainer price. You just have to understand for $27, you're just going to get way more volume and you're going to know, right? You don't have to spend as much. So those of you that don't have a huge budget, the reason why for paid traffic you want something lower priced is because you get more nervous. So, when I reached the pinnacle of campaigns, which of course I shut off to do something else, like everything that's worked, but like $980,000 in monthly revenue. It was a $300 product. But the reason why it was so tumultuous in the beginning is because you got to spend $2,000 or $3,000 a day. So this is playing kind of more, playing with bigger stakes. Does that make sense? Like if you're bidding on a $2,000 purchase, well, you're going to be spending $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 for the economics to know what's going on. If you're charging $27, okay, well, then I can spend a few $100 in a week or so or a month and understand right away if it's working. So it's just bigger. This is like penny stocks. This is like way more. You got to have more momentum to go right to that. What you don't want to do is just go run ads for like a $10,000 program or something, or bid on strategy sessions or whatever out the gate. Recap: 3 steps, hooks, put our content everywhere. So this is how we create the content. This is how we optimize our content for both visual and video. There are specific types of image ads I'm going to give you that are the 8 proven formats that we always go with, and you'll recognize them because you've seen them everywhere. But they're the 8 top converting ads. Those and the hooks is kind of like, okay, that's the content that we need. Then we can syndicate that content everywhere. And then we launch a low ticket front end offer, and then we're cooking with gas. 3 pieces to prepare. What do you have to do to be prepared? Well, if you haven't done so already, this should motivate you to think about the 2 things. Number 1, your Ninja content sequence. For each step of your roadmap, and I don't want to overwhelm you with all the types of content for each step, like a problem piece of content and a proof piece of content. Just a simple how-to video. You're not teaching the whole thing like they're a customer, but these are the steps we follow. Here's my one-page weight loss calculator. Here's the problems you're probably having. Here's how it works. Here's my one-page Facebook ads template, whatever it is. For each step of your roadmap, a piece of educational content that follows the authority amplifier. One piece of content. Step 2, find your problem. So here's the good news: is the best lead magnet is always the best customer magnet. What you don't do here is start with, sounds hard to say this, you don't give them the most transformational thing they need the most, because they're human beings. So for my low ticket offer sample I just showed you, the reason why it's a script, how to automatically create your webinar VSL, is because that's bright, shiny, sexy. It's an asset. It's something that's closer to making money. If I said, we're going to help you with your model builder, because you guys are in here, you know the model builder is way more important than creating their webinar. But if I did that as a front end offer, it's going to be boring to them because it's math. So if you look at our lead magnet training and our framework, you understand we look at our roadmap and we pull a hot step out, not the first step necessarily, a hot, sexy, here's a 1-page sales script, not here's a 1-page math calculator. Here's, 10 stretches you could do versus here's the top 20 fat burning foods. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be a hot step of your roadmap. And then instead of just giving them a PDF and a quick authority amplifier video, we're going to upgrade that. I'll show you how to do that, but it's a quick mini course, a paid webinar that covers it, a challenge for 2 or 3 days where you cover it. A mini course is the fastest thing to do, but you're giving them the same quality of help that you would give a coaching client. It's not a marketing video. It's literally, here's how you do it. Here's the script that you use. Here's for your coaching clients, you're going deep on every step. This is, you're taking one step and giving them everything you possibly can to get results on that one small step to get a quick win. So you're not holding anything back because you're charging. So the difference between a lead magnet is, a lead magnet's like, oh, here's a 1-page thing. Let me quickly run through the fact that you've never seen it before, how cool it is, and the fact that it works. But then if you want to learn how to do it, book a session with me or sign up for my coaching. This is, no, here's a 1-page thing, and I'm going to give you everything I possibly can to get results. That's the difference. You're not taking your free thing and charging for it. A lot of people do that, and you wonder why you don't get any customers on the back end. Okay, So, how do we feel about traffic in general, zooming out and saying we're going to do 3 steps in order, and we can table all the confusion and concern and tactics. Let's just cut to what works and do those things in the right order. Does that feel good to you guys? And if you're behind, this doesn't mean skip putting together a real good offer. It doesn't. Trust me. We're going to be here and we're only going to make this better and better as we go. So I think it's important to understand the forest of the trees and understand what we're going to do. But if you're on your offer engine, double down and crush that. Okay, folks? I'll upload this straight away. And we're going to be digging right into a deep dive on the content and viral hooks you're going to create, then the content conveyor belt, and then the customer magnet. So I honor each and every one of you for showing up and taking action. Never forget the whole reason I get to be such a nerd and do this for a living is because of you. Like literally, this questionably unhealthy diet soda, you paid for it. So I appreciate your patronage, but more importantly, your action. So the best way you can repay me besides from your wallet is to just implement and keep being awesome.